That's fine.
Yeah, I record my interaction.
No,
My phone keeps going off right now.
But ma'am, I'm not doing that.
I don't know who's doing it.
Well, I'm not.
Well, my phone has went off multiple different times, so I'm not. If the law enforcement is covering for crimes and won't investigate,
I'm not doing that. I don't know if somebody else is.
I'm telling you.
Not.
So what do I do? If you see all those reports that are not getting investigated,
have you called Internal Affairs?
I have.
What did they tell you?
They cover for the crimes too.
Then the only thing I know to do after that is contact the FBI.
Okay, but as law enforcement, for me reporting crimes to you, there's nothing at all that can be done, period, to get law enforcement. With all those reports, there's nothing that you can do as a police, period, on this planet for me to get law enforcement that I've been deprived of 6 years. There's nothing at all that can be done.
I can't speak for the detectives. See, it's out of my hands once the report's made.
Okay, but I'm
not the one that filed.
Well, I'm just trying to get, intercept this pattern of being deprived of law enforcement. I'm trying to figure out if all those reports you see and no one's investigating them, how are charges going to be given to people that are committing crime?
I'm sure that they will be investigated.
No, it's been going on 6 years. No, they detained me at one safe place to make sure that I didn't get help.
Is there a chance that maybe there is a little bit of psychosis going on?
Can you look at the channel? Just go ahead and look at the channel.
I'll do that.
I think that framing someone with mental illness to get away with felonies is criminal, isn't it? It's not a crime to be mentally ill, but it is a felony charge to tamper with evidence.
It is.
That's a felony. Yes. So we're deflecting on crimes that are being committed on you trying to set me up for mental illness like that's been done years.
No, I'm not trying to set you up.
Well,
I'm not.
Everyone that has a hack phone, you immediately think that they're mentally ill?
No.
You just saw all those reports and you're deflecting on all those reports not being investigated, saying that I'm mentally ill and felonies have been committed.
I'm not saying
you saw all those reports that are not being investigated. You saw it yourself, and then you're asking me if I'm mentally ill when you see felonies racked up by multiple people. If you just saw all those reports in your system that I just saw with you, and it hasn't been investigated, that's showing you that there's a crime being committed.
Is there anything else I can do for you today?
I don't understand why when you saw that those felonies were being committed, why you blame me for mental illness, tried to frame me for mental illness. Okay, well, let's talk about all those reports that are not being investigated.
You have to take that up with our internal affairs department.
Okay, and here's another thing. I want to know why police are always in the environment sabotaging my ability to get help and get a support system.
What type of help would you like right now?
I would like to get help with domestic violence because my police have been covering for my abuser and keeping me from the assistance to flee him.
Yeah, if he's in Louisiana, I think he's fairly safe, aren't you?
No, I have multiple different false arrests, and they keep interrupting my ability to. I like support system. I like support groups. I like to be educated. I like to get involved.
Do you need a ride anywhere? Is there anything I can do to help you with in the immediate? Because I need to go to this other call.
Well, are you going to give me a ride to a domestic violence organization?
No, but I can give you right to the shelter. I mean, there's one around the corner. But I'm not trying to blow you off or to be dismissive. It's just the reports have been made.
But they're covering for the crime.
Well, I don't know.
I'm telling you, if you just saw those reports and no investigator has called me, what would you think that is? If someone is saying their phone is hacked, ran off roads, assault with a deadly weapon, and they're not getting law enforcement, 2 interference with child custody crimes, in some kind of way, it's no way on the planet to get law enforcement.
Well, again, I go to calls for domestic violence calls in progress. I go to services in progress.
Why won't they come out for me? I've been reporting it a long time. They keep doing it on the phone. And then won't assign an investigator.
No, because if he's in Louisiana, then
those are more charges.
It's not imminent.
He's controlling people from Dallas, which makes it higher charges. So that
the control you from Dallas?
Each time I'm at church, domestic violence organizations, each environment covers for his crimes. Even my family have done it.
So your family chooses him over you?
Yes, absolutely. And there has been hit and runs in my family, and they were terrified. My family covers for him and hangs up in my. If I call my family right now and tell them what I'm going through, they're going to hang up in my face. And they used to be in tears doing this.
Does that tell you that maybe things aren't as they seem to you?
Well, okay, let's just say, let's just say that I'm mentally ill. Okay, let's say I'm mentally ill. Is there any particular reason why you won't investigate my hacked phone and all the reports of stalking? Why would they choose to rack up felonies? Because it's not a crime to be mentally ill, but it is a crime to deprive someone of law enforcement. I want you to concentrate on all those reports that have not been investigated, and no investigator has called me.
If you are mentally ill, I want you to know my heart goes out.
I'm asking you about all the reports that aren't getting investigated. Okay, so tamper with evidence is a felony. So as you as law enforcement, and how many reports was that? Like 14?
It was quite a few.
14 or 15. No investigator has ever called, and that a red flag for you being law enforcement?
It may be that whatever's going on in the report doesn't meet the elements of the office.
Oh, so to interference with child custody or abusing controlling someone's phone, their environment, stalking them, cyber stalking them, cyber bullying, multiple false arrests, slandered all over the place, criminal trespasses issue, none of that meets the elements of a crime?
Well, it depends on the facts that were presented in the report. Or maybe it could be, and it breaks my heart to say this, and I'm not saying it's funny or anything, but it could be that the reality is not really what you think it is. Okay?
So this is how they do it. They stake me out in my environments. So when I flag them down, they're all covering for crimes. So used to be they would punish me and then take my freedom.
I don't want to take your freedom.
Well, I'm glad that stopped because it happened 20 times. But we're deflecting on crimes being committed, sir. With you trying to set me up for framing me with mental illness on why all those reports haven't been investigated. Those are felonies. Being mentally ill is not. So obviously, for some reason, why my phone is malfunctioning, you're not giving me any assistance, which has not been happening for a while. I'm just trying to incriminate people, so this can finally end. So out of all all those amazing events, you want to slander me with mental illness instead of?
I'm not slandering.
Well, have you done any law enforcement? Done any law enforcement? Okay, so if you saw 14 or 15 reports that haven't been investigated, that's not a red flag for you crimes are being committed?
The detectives will investigate it once the report.
But if someone is saying my phone is being hacked in corruption and no one will investigate it,
I don't really feel like it's doing it. Okay?
Why would you feel?
With all due respect.
Oh, the AT&T said my phone was cut off. And can you tell me why the police department interrupts me reporting crimes going on with my phone to my provider? My phone shuts off multiple different times. I have it recorded on the YouTube channel.
I'll look at you.
Okay, so can you tell me why police interrupt me reporting that to my provider?
No, ma'am, I don't know.
Do when you go to report crimes with your provider or issues with your provider, does the police department come?
I never had to do that.
You've never had problems with your phone. Well, then that's a red flag. It's really getting hacked. I always have problems with my phone. And then when I go, the police remove me from telling my provider what's going on with my phone to enforce. I continue to go through it.
So AT&T calls the police on you?
No, I called the police on AT&T. The police lied and said that AT&T did it to cover for the fact that my phone was hacked and I couldn't get it.
It could have been both of you all, because that happens. Sometimes both parties call.
Okay, so if someone is telling someone that I don't have service and they pay for service and they call the police on the lady that don't have service, that's not a red flag to you?
I would just have to be there in the moment.
You can be there in the moment on my YouTube channel, AT&T, but I just, for your education as a police, if someone is saying that their phone is not working and they won't give them service and force them to leave.
I'm always open to work.
But you don't want to incriminate anyone, so you won't say anything.
Well, I don't know who I would be incriminating.
I'm just saying that I think that it's a red flag if I'm at my provider's trying to report that my phone isn't working properly and police get involved in it. I think something's amiss. Because you have freedom to go report crimes going on with your phone, right? But if some police come interrupt me with a criminal trespass and force me to leave and threaten my arrest for reporting crimes going on with my phone, isn't that a violation of my rights?
Well, not if the store told you to leave.
I don't. Is that theft of services to be paying for services that they're not willing to give me?
That could be under certain circumstances.
Yeah. So if I pay for services and my abuser's controlling them and depriving me of services that I paid for twice that month, actually, why isn't the police doing anything about it?
Where are you living?
Why?
I'm just curious. Do you have a caseworker that you're working with?
I just don't understand how I can't get law enforcement from all these police. If you guys are staking me out in corruption, that's federal charges, isn't it?
Well, I don't think anybody's staking you out.
Well, my phone is malfunctioning, and each time I flag down the police, they're always covering for crimes.
There's really nothing that we can do. I barely can make my own phone work right.
Okay, so you're law enforcement. I'm in charge of reporting an abuser has hacked my phone. You saw all those reports that an investigator never called me on, and there's nothing that you can do, period, as law enforcement.
I think your main issue
But tell me I'm schizophrenic.
I think your main issue is with the detective department, right?
My main issue is from corrupt law enforcement stalking me, lying to me, blatantly lying to me to cover for crimes that they're enlisted to cover up. Well, I don't know what you're doing here, but I do know that you're not being